Hello everybody and welcome to today's IELTS speaking class, where we will go through elements of the IELTS speaking exam and do live practice with students within the class. So welcome to all of those who are currently watching, and I hope you find this class useful and that you're able to take some of the tips forward in your ongoing IELTS practice. So my name is Alex, and you might recognize me if you were at the class last week, and I will be going through the exam with you today. If you're watching live on Facebook or YouTube, then please let me know in the chat. Just say a hi, let me know your name and where you're from. We will also have students that will be joining us live in the class as well. So I look forward to seeing those students here too. So hello to Safa. Great to see you in the class today. And Jerome as well. Hello to you. And Alice, hello to you, Alice. Great to see you in the chat as well. And Gail. Hello, Gail. So we've got Jerome here from the Philippines. Great to see you here, Jerome. I know it's quite late in the Philippines, so welcome to the class. Just see if anyone else comes to join us. Okay. And Tatin as well is here from the UAE. Great to see you here in the class, Tatin. LaJoy is here too. Hello to you. And Ajajit as well. Mina too. I can also see Bajan, Polivalanka as well. So it's great. Great to see you all joining us in the class today. Okay, so just before we get started with the practice speaking test, I want to let you know about the IELTS scholarship program. And if you're interested in how Swoosh and Connetics can help you in passing your IELTS exam, then do contact joy@conneticsusa.com. We can help you in terms of providing you with the opportunity to work and live abroad in the United States as a nurse. So a great opportunity there, which we can help you to achieve. If you're not already part of our scholarship program, then contact joy@conneticsusa.com. And she can give you more information and help you to do that. So I look forward to seeing you as part of this program going forward. Okay then. So what we are doing in today's class is obviously practicing in terms of the IELTS speaking. I will go through some tips relating to both parts 2 and 3. That'll be the focus for today's class. And then we will do some practice for each of these parts as well. So with IELTS speaking part 2, I just want to give a brief description of the task, just to remind us what we ought to be doing. So the task usually lasts between 3 to 4 minutes. It will begin with a presentation of a question, which you will have 1 minute to look at and prepare a response to. You can make notes during this time. You should aim to then speak for up to 2 minutes. And as a tip here, I advise that you always practice speaking for the full 2 minutes. If you're comfortable speaking for the full 2 minutes in the IELTS exam, then you'll have no issues when it comes to this section. So always aim for 2 minutes for IELTS part 2. No long pauses, no long breaks. The goal is to keep going, to show your fluency throughout this section of the test. So here are some specific tips then, because this is one of the areas that students sometimes struggle with in terms of actually speaking for the full 2 minutes. So one of the tips in terms of how to speak longer is to make sure that you make clear notes before you speak. So you can see there's an example here, and we have some notes. We can see it says a silver bangle bracelet, late Aunt Sue, 16 years, lucky talisman for remembrance loved one. So just from these notes, what do you think the topic might be for the IELTS speaking part 2 question? Just let me know in the chat box if you think that you know the answer. And let me welcome Marsha as well, and Umir and Jessica to the class, as well as Mina from Egypt. Jessica, you're from the Philippines. Welcome to all of you. And Chassis as well from Saudi Arabia. Hello to all of you. So what do we think? Any ideas in terms of what the topic might be for this IELTS speaking part 2 question? Well, the topic is, looking at these notes, we would assume it would be a gift, an important gift that this person has received. And you can see we've got really clear notes here describing the gift, saying who gave the gift, how long the person has had the gift for, why this gift is important to them, and also the context of the gift as well, why they keep it and what it means to them. So really clear notes. So that's one thing. If your notes are really clear, then you'll be able to use them as a guide, and that will help you to speak for longer. So make sure you do make notes, and make sure that your notes are as clear as possible. Don't write too much, but at the same time, make sure you write enough so that they are actually useful. Another tip in terms of speaking for longer is to make sure that you both introduce and summarize your talk. So at the beginning of your talk for part 2, you could start with a phrase such as this. So I would like to talk about an event which really made a big impact on me. It was a time when... Okay, so it's just a way to introduce what you're going to talk about. If it's a different topic rather than an event, it could be the gift, as we just looked at before. It could be, so I'd like to talk about a gift which is really important to me. And it's something that I received when I was, so some kind of introduction to the talk. It uses a little bit of time, and also it helps to provide structure to what you're saying. And as well as an introduction as well, we should have a quick summary at the end. If there's still time left, this is a good way to use some of that time. So we can use that to repeat or reiterate the main point of our talk. And in this example, I've written, so that's why this was such a special moment for me that I don't think I will ever forget. So just a short sentence, it summarizes what you've said, and it helps provide structure, and also it helps to lengthen your contribution. Another tip on how to speak for longer is that you should be prepared to add extra details to your talk. So if you're talking about a friend, for example, an extra detail that you could use is to describe her. What does she look like? Also, you can describe her personality. You know, is she an outgoing person? Is she a sort of person who is sociable? Is she a generous person? Is she reliable? What sorts of adjectives could you use to describe her personality? You can add the detail in terms of how long you've known her for. That could be an extra detail you could use to extend your talk. You can explain how you met. There are many ways that you can extend your talk. So during your preparation stage, it's worth thinking about extra details you could add in order to extend your talk if you are worried about being able to speak for the full 2 minutes. And another tip, and this is a tip which I think can be particularly useful if you really are struggling in order to fill the 2 minutes, is use a past, present, future structure. So most IELTS Part 2 questions focus on the past, not all of them, but there are a lot of them that do. So if you've talked about all of the topics on the roll card, then you can extend it by describing how you feel about the situation or the person now. What are your present reflections? That's a way of extending the talk. And you've talked about how you feel about the situation now. What do you think will happen in the future? If it's a situation, how do you think the situation will influence you in the future? If it's a friend, do you think you'll continue being friends in the future? How do you think your relationship will develop in the future? So these are ways which we can extend our talk if we are struggling to keep going for the 2 minutes. So here's an example of a part 2 question. You can see the notes which you should talk about. In the chat box, I'd just like you to share some ideas in terms of how you could extend your answer to this question. So take a moment to have a look at it, and if you've got some ideas in terms of how you could extend it, please share those ideas in the chat box. So just having a look here at some of the comments. Good. Okay, so you were looking to predict what the topic was before. That's great. It was a gift, yeah, a precious gift. So well done, Jerome and Nana, for recognizing that. Leanne as well. What's the most valuable thing you have and why? Good. Yeah, all of these are relevant to that question. Okay, so in relation to this question then, we can see the topic here. Describe an occasion when you wore your best clothes. Any ideas in terms of maximizing your talk? Any ideas in terms of extending your talk? Please let me know if you have some suggestions. Okay, so I'm going to bring our first student into the class in just a moment. So let me know as I bring you in if you have some ideas in terms of how you could extend your talk on this point. And also, please let me know in the chat box as well. So, Mel, Chris, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Good, good, good. So, where are you at the moment?
I'm in London at the moment.
Ah, are you working hard in London?
Well, yes, I can say I'm working hard.
Working hard and studying hard as well, right?
No, I'm just working.
Okay.
Oh, you mean studying with the IELTS?
For
Yeah.
the IELTS, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Where are you working at the moment?
Imperial College.
Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, I know that's a big institution, so it must involve a lot of effort, a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So, what do you think then, Mel Christ, in terms of this question? How could you extend your response? You've got the notes there on the screen. What could you add, if necessary, to keep talking for the full 2 minutes?
I'm actually having a hard time reading it because I do not know. I'm trying to connect to my laptop, but I couldn't
Okay.
connect. So I'm using
Ah,
my mobile phone. So
okay.
so I'm having difficulty reading it.
Are you not able to see the notes on the screen?
I can see, but I'll try to focus.
Okay.
So is it something to do with let me just okay. Describe a location when you wore your best clothes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And can you see the notes underneath?
You should say what you wore, when you wore them, what they look like, and explain why you wore them.
Good. Exactly.
Yeah.
So those are the notes you're given. So you're going to talk about this topic, but I just want to see, can you suggest ways in which we could maybe extend? Imagine you talk about all of these 3 things, or all these 4 points, and you've still got another 30 seconds left to go. What could you add in order to extend your talk?
Am I the first one that's
Yeah.
going to? Oh, okay. Okay. I think
But no, I'm not saying that you have to talk now. I'm just saying what could you add to extend it?
you can do a comparison of the clothes.
Okay.
Let's say probably let's say you can compare um, a tuxedo to a smart casual clothes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
something like
absolutely.
something formal, something which is semi formal.
Okay, so let's imagine.
Yeah.
So you've spoken about an occasion where you wore a tuxedo. You've given lots of detail. Then you could say there was another occasion where I wore, and then you could talk about some different clothes that you wore to
Yes.
add to the talk. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that would be a way to extend it. I can just see as well that we've had a suggestion from Safa, who said that we could talk about casual, formal clothes, possibly. Um, yeah. Okay. So we can extend our talk about the clothes. We can really describe them in terms of the nature of how casual they were, how formal they were. Um, good. Yeah. George is saying friends' reaction. Yeah. What did your friends think when they saw them? Good. Yeah. That's another good extension idea as well. Okay, good. So let's give this a try then, Mel Chris.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you a minute to prepare. So you can think in your case of what you could talk about in relation to this cue card. And then you should aim to talk about the topic for 2 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So you have a minute to prepare starting now. Okay, so that's your minute then, Mel Chris. So I'd like you to describe an occasion when you wore your best clothes.
I was invited to a party recently. It's actually a cultural gatherings of all. Can I say it's a cultural gatherings of all nations. So you have Africans, you have Filipinos, so you have Asians. So the theme of the party was for you to wear a clothes that is identified to your country. So at that time, I wore a clothes. We call it Barong Tagalog. So if you translate that in English, Barong means is just literally top, and then Tagalog is that's actually the official language of the Philippines. So combining together, that's Barong Tagalog. Translated in English, that's actually top of the Philippines. Also, Tagalog top, something like that. It is comparable to a tuxedo, but tuxedo is more formal. Barong Tagalog is also formal, but it has something to do with your culture when you wore it. It speaks about your culture. It speaks about where you came from, and that clothes is actually I like wearing the clothes because it reminds me of my roots, and the way that the clothes was made was actually important because it's also showcasing the Filipino culture. It is made up of pineapple, and it's quite expensive back in the Philippines. But if here in the UK, of course, it's affordable to buy. And I like wearing that clothes on a special occasion because, as I've said earlier on, the moment you wear the clothes, it's actually gives you it's quite symbolic because it tells you about your culture. It we by just looking at it, people will say that you're from this
Okay,
country.
thank you very much, Mel Chris. Well done. No problems there. To keep on going for those 2 minutes. Yeah, that was very good, Mel Chris. So what did you find? What tip did you find helps you to keep going for those 2 minutes?
Well, for one thing, I already took the IS before, and then this was the question they asked me. The examiner asked
Really?
me. Yeah, that's why when I saw it, oh, okay, that's fine. So the same close I told the examiner, which is the Barang Tagalog. So
Wow. So you'd had prior practice then?
yeah, but that was like when I had the exam, like it was like 3 months ago.
Okay.
So
Okay. So there you go. So that helped. But yeah, I think definitely, giving a lot of cultural information definitely helped, didn't it? It gave you a lot to talk about. It gave you a lot of context. So that really helped. And so that was great. And you have a lot of relevant vocabulary as well, a lot of advanced vocabulary that you were using appropriately throughout the talk, and you speak at a very fluent pace. So you didn't pause a lot. You were clear as well in your communication. Your pronunciation was accurate. So there was lots of positive elements to your speaking. So some really good words that you were using, words like symbolic,
yeah,
showcasing Filipino culture. That was really nice. I also like the fact that you affordable you used as well. But just a little note: when you said it was affordable to buy, that was a bit redundant because you already said it was affordable, so you didn't need to say it was affordable to buy.
yeah,
But that's a small point. But it was a nice use of vocabulary you were using there with affordable. Um, I also like the fact in terms of technique that you translated as well. So you gave a cultural term, obviously from Tagalog, I'm assuming, from your national language, and then you translated it into English. So that's a really nice thing to do,
no,
because obviously, what's that?
no, because when I was starting to talk during my last IELTS,
Yeah,
when I open my mouth and say the word Barong Tagalog, the examiner was looking at me, and then I realized that he doesn't probably understand what's Barong Tagalog mean. That's the
exactly,
reason why I translated it in English.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, that's
So
the thing. Yeah, it's all about communication. Yeah, so it's no problem to use that term, but definitely translate it. Any term you use which is culturally specific, translate it into English, because otherwise the examiner will be confused, and
yeah,
yeah, and obviously in terms of your communication, it will be impacted by that. But yeah, good tactic. The only thing that I would just pick up on, like small grammar slips, was just with plural forms. And it was clothes. So clothes is plural. We always talk about some clothes, but there were some singular references. So
yeah,
you
yeah,
talked about a clothes that is identified. You talked about that clothes. So yeah, it'd be those clothes. That was the only thing. And then also you talked about a cultural gatherings. But if it's singular, then it'll just be gathering. So a cultural gathering. So it's just some slips
yeah,
on plural form. But apart from that, yeah, really good stuff. So I'm assuming you did well in your IELTS speaking. Is that correct?
yeah, yeah. That's correct. It's 7.
Congratulations. Yeah, I can imagine it would. Yeah, good stuff. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Mel Chris, for getting us going here with some part two practice. Um, and yeah, congratulations in your IELTS speaking score.
All right, thank you.
Cheers, Well. Okay, so I'm going to bring in Shirley now. So let me just bring you into the class. Shirley, are you there?
Yes, hello, good evening, good
Good.
afternoon.
Good evening to you. Yeah, it is afternoon here, but good evening to you. I'm assuming you're in the Philippines. Is that correct?
I'm in United Arab Emirates, UAE.
Ah, okay,
Here, yes,
okay. So it's you're 5 hours ahead of us, right, in the UAE?
4 hours.
Okay, okay, not as much as I thought then.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, so Shirley, we're going to continue with some part two practice. I'm just going to have a quick look here. I can see a question from George. Is it true that while speaking you should not touch your face? It's better not to touch your face, just simply because if you're touching your face, you might be blocking your mouth, which will make it harder for people to hear you. But if you've got a little scratch or something, then you're not going to be marked down for scratching your face quickly or something like that. So don't worry too much about that. It's a judgment of your speaking ability. They're not going to judge you as much on your body language. So obviously look confident, make good eye contact with the examiner where appropriate, but don't worry too much about touching your face. So, Shirley, we'll have a look at a different topic together. And the topic we'll have a look at now is sticking with clothing, but it's a different question. So can you see this, the roll cards there? Good.
Yeah, I can see it.
Fantastic. Okay, so Shirley, you have a minute then to prepare your talk, and then you should aim to talk about the topic for 2 minutes. Okay?
Okay.
Great.
Simon, quiet, please.
Okay, Shirley, are you ready to begin?
Yes.
Brilliant. Okay, so please describe a person who wears clothes which you think are unusual.
Actually, I really couldn't think of any person whom I think they are wearing unusual, but probably I could describe one person. Not very unusual, but I could say somehow that I can categorize her to be one of them because she is always wearing clothes in purple color, in purple. So I think it's unusual somehow because in any occasion, um, the color of her clothes would be purple. So she is actually my colleague here in here in United Arab Emirates, and I've known her for almost 10 years. So, and I came to know that her favorite colors are actually purple, and not only into her clothing that she is always preferred to to choose that color is because in everywhere most of the time she's choosing a color of pink. But for me, I could say that it's unusual because it's very difficult, or I think it's not so. I mean, it's not usual or normal that all of our clothes will be in the same shade of one color. And I think she is somehow fixated on that particular preference. And though I couldn't see any problem with that as long as she is happy. Because we are talking about unusual things, so I think this is something that I could say that is unusual for someone to really just stick into one colors. So other than that,
Okay, thank you very much. Well done. So you reached the magic 2 minute mark again there, Shirley, with your
but I think
friends.
I just keep repeating.
There was some repetition, yeah. So what could you have done? What could you have done maybe to have avoided repeating some of the information?
I could have focused on some of her other qualities, probably. I really don't know because I just focus on the clothes.
Well, you focused on the color, but maybe you could have given some examples of the clothes that she wore. So, for example, you said that she always wears purple. What would she wear? So, like a purple dress with purple shoes. Would she have a purple handbag? What about headwear? You know, she wears headgear. Does she wear purple hats on top of it? What about
Yeah,
jewelry? You know, the jewelry. What color is her jewelry? As
yeah.
well. So, actually describing some items of clothing as well would have been something that you could have done. And of course, it didn't just have to be the color as well. You could also, you know, does she wear brand names when it comes to clothing? Does she wear usually, clothes which are new? Is she very fashionable? Does she like to buy the latest clothes, or does she tend to reuse a lot of clothes? So there's lots of different directions you can kind of shoot off in terms of that topic, not just in terms of color. Obviously, you could have gone in other directions as well. Um, so that would have obviously have given you a little bit more to talk about, because I do agree that you were repeating the colours a little bit throughout. But still, there was some nice use of vocabulary. I particularly liked fixated. I thought that was nice, and you use that with the correct preposition as well, fixated on. So that's a nice vocabulary item to use. But there were some mistakes with other prepositions that you use. So you said that she wears clothes in purple, but usually we just say wears purple clothing, is what we would say. So we wouldn't usually use the expression in that way. And also you said in any occasion, but it would be on any occasion. Things happen on an occasion. And also, just finally with prepositions, you talked about. You said she, it's strange, it's unusual that she would stick into one color, but stick with is more common in this case. It's strange that she would stick with just one color. So yeah, just be a bit careful about your use of prepositions. Otherwise, there was good use of vocabulary and strong pronunciation as well. So it was clear to follow the information that you were communicating. So well done, Shirley, and thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, Shirley. So next, I'm looking to bring in students who didn't practice last week at the moment. So I'm just going to bring in Summer next. So let me just bring you in there, Summer. Are you there, Summer?
Yes. Good
Wonderful.
evening.
Good evening to you. Good evening to you. So where are you at the moment, Summer?
I'm currently in Singapore.
Okay. And how long have you been in Singapore for?
Oh, it's quite sometimes. It's more than a decade already.
Oh, but you're getting ready now to move on to the United States. Is that right?
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm having the hard time in getting my IELTS to pass. So this is the only thing I'm waiting for.
It's the one barrier. Okay. Well, let's see if we
Yeah,
can
it's
get over
been
that barrier.
children.
Okay. So we're going to continue with part two with a different topic, Summer. So let me just show you that. Just before we do that, I do want to just remind everyone here of the scholarship program. And as I was saying at the beginning of the class, if you are interested to know how Swoosh and Connetics can help you to achieve your dreams of working abroad in the United States as a nurse, then do get in contact with us about that with joy@connecticsusa.com. We can give you the support that you need in order to pass your IELTS exam, just as Summer you're attempting to do right now. So, Summer, the topic that we will be looking at now is ambition. So, can you see? And this is a relevant one, right? So, can you can you see the roll card clearly on the screen?
Yes, hopefully I can answer this soon properly.
Great, great. Okay, so you have a minute then just to prepare your response.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, Summer, are you ready to begin?
Okay, I'll try.
Okay, so I'd like you to describe an ambition that you've had for a long time.
Okay. It's been a long dream of mine to be a US nurse. It's it's really been a decade, I guess, that I've been aiming to be in United States to be a nurse. However, because of this hindrance, I can say that passing some of the requirements is quite difficult for me. So I really need to um, make an effort to achieve this one. Since I already achieved the first requirements, which was the passing the licensure exam as a nurse. So the next steps is the English exam. So this one I have the hard time to pass or to achieve. However, I'm keep having burning midnight oil in order for me to get this passing mark, which is quite difficult for me to achieve. However, if I'm so determined to do this one, I guess I'm so positive to be on that top in order for me to get uh this the only thing that I really need to pursue my dreams. So I guess it's really need an effort to make it happen. At the same time, I just want to thank my family for being supportive on my goal. At at the same time, to my agency, which are very accommodating, and they're also motivating me to improve
Okay,
and to.
thank you. Thank you very much, Summer. So that was great. That you kept going for the 2 minutes. It was like a bit of an Oscar speech there to towards the end with the thanks that you were giving. But yeah, great stuff that you were able to keep it going, Summer. So again, some nice use of vocabulary was in there. Some less common vocabulary items like hindrance you were using. Um, Also, some good collocations. You're talking about to make an effort and also to pursue your dreams. So it was good to sort of hear you using these collocations correctly. Um, there was you're going for um, some idiomatic language with um, with the burning the midnight oil, but yeah, it wasn't quite there. So I would
Oh,
just so yeah, so I would change it. So with this, it's just I have been is with the easy way. So I've been burning the midnight oil. Would be the way that it would be used.
I
Um,
have been burning midnight.
yeah,
Ah,
exactly.
oh,
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, so or you could say I keep burning the midnight oil. That's possible as well.
oh,
Um, I just think you were using too many verbs in the expression. Um, but yeah, good to hear you attempting that. Obviously, when you're using idiomatic language, using it naturally is important because you don't want to draw too much attention to it. Because if you draw too
yeah.
much attention to it and it sounds unnatural, then you won't get credit for it. So
But
yeah,
actually, it's related, right? But the thing is, I didn't deliver it properly.
that's all it was. Yeah, exactly that, Summer. Um, so yeah, apart from that, yeah, I thought it was really good. Just a few grammatical slips. So at one point you said you were aiming to be in United States, but just remember that it's always the United States.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, all the countries that have United before them are always the United States, the
Mhm.
United Kingdom, the United Arab Emirates.
So
Um,
should be in the United States or
exactly. Yeah,
aiming in the United States? Okay.
in the United States. Exactly that. Yeah. Um, Good. And also just finally, you said you wanted to thank people for being supportive on your goal, but it should be supportive of is the expression that
Support.
you wanted. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Okay, but apart from that, some really good stuff. So well done, Summer, and thank you for getting involved.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Okay, so I'm looking. I can see there are some people that are part of the stream, but at the moment your devices are not connected. So do ensure that you connect your devices, otherwise I won't be able to bring you into the class. So just make sure you check that. So I'm just going to bring in Anna now. Hello, Anna.
Hello, Alexander.
How are you on this fine day?
I'm doing great. I just got off from work.
Okay. Okay, so just got off from work and you just managed to slide in
Yes.
to get some practice in.
Yes.
Good, good. I like it. Focus, dedication. That's what we like to see. Which where are you working?
I'm working in Singapore.
So do you know Summer?
No, but I think I had one class with Sir Stephen with her last
Okay,
that the last time.
okay. Good, good. So we've practiced on part of the class thus far. Um, I've got one more part two question that I would like us to practice. So you can see the topic on the screen here. It's music. So can you see the topic there clearly in front of you, Anna?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Alexander.
Brilliant. Okay, so you've got 1 minute then, Anna, to prepare your response to this topic. You should aim to speak for 2 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Are you ready to begin?
Yes, I'll try.
Okay, perfect. So describe a singer that you like.
Okay, I have a lot of singers that I love, but this particular person is the one whom I connected to. I mean, her name is Miley Cyrus. She is an American singer and songwriter, and she is, I think, for my opinion, I think she is kind of kind person and outspoken and a bit wild. Before, when I was still younger, I used to see her in an movie or like TV series, which is Hannah Montana. And my colleagues back then, when I was still working in the Philippines, teased me to be Hannah Montana in the Philippines. So I was really amazed because they are comparing me to my idol. So to add it on, she mostly singing. I mean, she's singing always pop music, but I think she also got ballad songs, I suppose. And mostly the youngsters are the one who's listening to her. But for me, I'm in my 30s already, and I still love her music. I like her because she is a strong woman, not only like strong, like her voice is very nice, but also she's strong physically and mentally as well, because there are a lot of mistakes that happened in the past which regards to her marriage and everything, but yet she overcome it against all odds. Like, she is still here, singing her lungs out, like performing, even though we know that there are some problems that she is facing right now. So, with
Okay,
that being
thank you.
said,
Thank you, Anna. That's great. I feel like I know more about Miley Cyrus than I've ever known in my entire life. You know a lot about Miley Cyrus. I'm impressed. You should have a. Have you contributed to her Wikipedia article?
Not yet.
You should. You should check it. I'm sure you could add some information to it. Yeah. So really good there. You kept it going. Your fluency was natural. You didn't seem like you were struggling for content. Obviously, this question really.
Very hard.
Well, it didn't sound like it, because you had so much that you wanted to say about Miley Cyrus, which was great, and everything you were saying was relevant as well. There was some good use of vocabulary, particularly to music. So using like ballads, you said she was singing ballads, which was great. You talked about her being your idol as well, which was a nice use of vocabulary. Outspoken is another nice vocabulary item. A bit wild, which was nice. And also you were using some idiomatic language as well. You talked about her. You said, she's made mistakes, but you said she overcome it against all odds, which was a nice expression that you used there as well. I think the only thing I would just suggest there as well is in terms of using the present perfect. So she has overcome it would have been appropriate, because that links the past to the present. So if you'd have used that tense, that would have been perfect with that expression. So yeah, also you said, yes, singing her lungs out. That was another nice expression you were using. There was another expression you said. You said your friends, they tease you to be Hannah Montana, and at first I didn't quite follow the meaning, because I thought you said teach at first.
Okay.
But it was the structure of the sentence. So if you use tease, you tease someone about something. So the way to express it was so they teased me about being Hannah Montana.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that would have just made it a bit clearer. Yeah, but apart from that, really good stuff. So thank you for that, Anna. That was very interesting.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks a lot. Okay, so for the final 15 minutes of the class, then I want us to look at some possible part 3 questions. So let's do that. So just a very quick description for part 3. It usually lasts between 4 to 5 minutes. The questions will be linked to a topic in part 2. The format will be question and answer, so the same as part 1, but the difference is that the questions will be more abstract. So we'll look at this in a bit more detail next week, but just some quick advice for part 3 is that you need to make sure your answers are clear and structured. So there should be some evidence of linkers in your responses. Make sure that your opinion is clear, and also you should explain or justify your opinion as well. So here are some questions we could get for part 3. Going back to the topic of clothing. So I'm just going to bring in, sorry, where we were. I'm just going to bring in another student now so we can do this practice together. So let's do that. Okay. So let me just share that again, just so we can all see it. Okay, and Lauren, I'm going to bring you into the class just now. Are you there, Lauren?
Hi, Stephen. Hi,
Hi.
Alex.
Don't worry. Yeah, it's Alex.
That's why I'm.
Usually you do the speaking class with Stephen, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, no worries, okay then, Lauren. So where are you at the moment?
I'm currently in the Philippines.
Okay, wonderful, Lauren. So we're going to do some part 3 practice now then. In the exam, you won't be able to see the questions, but I've got them here just for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to choose some of these questions, Lauren, to do some practice together. So first question, what do people consider when buying clothes?
Well, there are a lot of factors that people are considering when it comes to purchasing clothes. First is that it should be comfortable in such a way that they can easily move whenever they wear this type of clothes. Another factor rather is that it goes along with different types of bottoms, such as it could go well with the shorts or even their favorite sneakers, so that they can mix and match whatever they're trying to wear in different occasions and in different times. And lastly is that they should also some people are also considering that these clothes are are in their favorite color, so that they could flaunt it in front of the other people, and of course it can match also with their favorite bags and favorite accessories. So I guess those are the three main factors of choosing their favorite the clothes that they're buying.
Do you think what people wear can affect their mood?
Definitely yes, because for me, for my own experience, I usually choose clothes depending on my mood. For example, I wear dresses whenever I want to feel feminine or I want to feel dainty, so that I could express myself more. And aside from that, I wear pants if I need to do some errands so that I could freely move. So it depends on the tasks that I will be doing in the within the day. So yeah.
In what ways do young people see fashion differently than older people do?
I think there are myriad of reasons on how young people choose their clothes, um, comparing to the older people. Young people prefer to flaunt their bodies, or to what I mean is that they're trying to um, portray to the other people that they're physically fit, or they can show off to their friends that they're working out, so their body figure is healthy and it's ideal. While for the older people, they prefer it to be comfortable, wherein they wear some t-shirts instead of body hugging clothes, so that they could freely move whenever they go to the market or do some groceries. So I think those are the main differences between the age groups when it comes to clothing.
Okay, that's great, Lauren. We'll just stop it there. Thank you very much. Um, so, yeah, some really good stuff there. I particularly like the structure that you used for answering the questions. It was very clear. You started with an introduction. Particularly with the first question, you said, there are a number of factors, and then you broke down those factors. And so you've got some really good fluency there, really good structures to your responses, and that's a very crucial asset to have for part three. So well done for that. There was some nice use of vocabulary as well. I particularly liked, you said you would choose some clothes that make you feel feminine. I like that. Other words you were using as well, portray, to show off. So some nice use of less common verbs. There were some words you're using. So you talked about people wearing clothes to flaunt it, but I wasn't sure if the context was appropriate, because if you flaunt something, it
Yeah.
means to show off in a way that's negative. Uh, yeah.
Font.
Yeah, so that's it. So obviously it can be a good word to use if used in the right context. But I think what you're saying is it's more to kind of just to show off, or more to just kind of to express themselves, rather than, yeah, if you flaunt, it's like it's too much, it's
Yeah.
exaggerated.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, but yeah, there was some really nice use of vocabulary as well. In terms of grammar, you were nice and accurate in your use of grammar, but just a couple of slips. So you said "for my own experience," but "from my own experience" would be the
Okay.
preposition. Yeah, in that case. And just a final one. At one point, you said you talked about young people comparing to older people, but it should be compared to older
Okay.
people.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you very much, Lauren. I thought some really good responses there.
Thank you so much.
Cheers, Lauren. So we've got time to do practice with one more student. So let me bring someone into the class who hasn't practiced recently. Okay, brilliant. So Netra, how are you doing today?
Yes, I'm good.
Good. I'm glad to hear it, Netra.
Thank you.
Where are you at the moment?
I'm in India, Mumbai.
Okay, wonderful. So Netra, are you ready to do a bit of part 3 speaking practice?
Yes, yes, yes.
Great. Let me just change the topic then for this final one. So we looked at ambition before as a part 2 topic. So we're going to look at some part 3 questions now. So Netra, is it important for us to have ambitions?
Yes, of course, ambitions really help us and motivate us to achieve something in our life. If a person want to excel in his or her life, that person should have ambition because it's kind of a great motivator, and it's really help us to achieve our dreams. So ambitions plays a vital role in our lives.
Okay. And do you think it's important for the youth to have ambitions?
Yes, of course, as at the young age when person has ambitions, but those kind of ambitions should be realistic because some youth they have some unrealistic goals or dreams and they find it difficult to achieve those. And I have seen some people they find some difficulties, for example, some psychological problems when they do not achieve their ambitions, and even though they work very hard. They just passionate enough to achieve those, but they don't have that talent, and finally they land up in psychological issues. So I think person at the younger age one should have ambition, but those ambitions should be realistic.
Okay. What kind of ambitions do people have in your country?
Oh, it's excellent question because, as per my perception, every person has his or her own ambitions, depend on their own skills and their own hobbies. For example, the person can have ambition to excel in sport career, or they can have ambition to go and work abroad or to learn or to study abroad. That kind of ambitions are quite common nowadays, and other people can have ambition to have their own business to excel in entrepreneurship, or person can have to get a job in a government sector. So these kind of ambitions are quite common for young people in my country.
Very nice. Okay, thank you very much, Netra.
Thank you,
Again,
sir.
some really good responses to the questions there. You were very comfortable with these questions. Have you seen
Yes,
these
thank you.
questions previously?
Yes, yes. Today only, sir. We practice on
Very good.
ambition.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Thank you.
perfect preparation for today. Yeah, you did seem
Yeah,
very
maybe
comfortable with
because
them.
of that. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, some really nice development there as well. I particularly liked your response to um, uh, about young people having ambitions, and you were looking at
Okay.
both sides of it. So you're saying, yeah, it's important for them to have ambitions, but at the same time, you said, they should be realistic.
Okay.
Just on that point as well, just the pronunciation, realistic. So the stress is on
Okay.
realistic. Yeah. So it was just the stress on that word.
Realistic. Okay. Realistic.
Good,
Okay.
exactly. Good.
Okay. Yeah.
But that was
That's
a
actually
nice
that's my
balance.
weakness.
What on the
Okay.
pronunciation?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, but it was good. And
Yeah.
also,
Yeah. I'm struggling with that only.
yeah, also there's another word which you used, which was nice as well, with entrepreneurship as well. I thought that was a nice
Hmm,
word that
hmm.
you used. So yeah, some good stuff.
Okay.
Also, you used an expression. You talked about young people possibly to land up in psychological issues. So I would
Okay.
change that slightly. So rather than land up in, I would say end up
Okay.
having. young people can end up having
End up, okay.
psychological issues. Yeah.
Okay. Right,
You,
right,
you
right. End
can
up. Okay.
exactly. You can land up in a difficult situation, so you can use it in that context. But if you're talking about having particular issues, yeah, end up having would be a more accurate
Yeah, right.
expression there.
Yes, right,
But
sir.
yeah,
Right. Thank you. Yeah,
great stuff.
thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much, Netra. Take
Thank
care.
you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so that brings us to the end of the class today. Thank you so much for all of those who have participated in the class, both within the StreamYard and also in the chat box. So thank you for your contributions and your suggestions. And we will be together again at the same time next week to do more IELTS speaking practice. So I hope to see you then. Just before I end the class today, a final reminder about the scholarship program. And if you do want to pursue those ambitions of working in the United States as a nurse, then contact us here at Swoosh and Connetics, and we can help you to get over that final barrier of passing the IELTS exam in order to achieve that dream. So I look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, take care.